government in this town is excellent and uses your tax dollars efficiently. Pay attention.
Maybe you thought you'd see it coming. The moment Bitcoin is what they fear it is. A way to read it.
What an astounding revolution Bitcoin represents.
All right, guys, I'm here in Mexico, Guadalajara again, still at the Talent Land, which has been a really interesting conference here, especially that there's very little Bitcoin stuff or cryptocurrency stuff going on here, but the ones that are here are making a pretty big impact, I think. You know, it seems like the stage that's here is based only on blockchain, like the stage right behind us over here. It's just blockchain speaker after blockchain speaker. I don't understand most of it because it's in Spanish, and my Spanish is limited. But anyway, I'm here with Emilio, and you work with SmartCash, you work with Monkey Coin, and you're Venezuelan, so you have kind of an insight on what's going on in Venezuela, and we'll get to that later. But so, Emilio, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Emilio, and actually I am the co-founder of the Monkey Coin Exchange in Venezuela, which is, I would say, the first one, the first exchange after this wave that basically there was an exchange before, but as it was quite shady, so the government or the banks just shut down these accounts, and then afterwards, kind of 2-3 years after, we decided to come up with this idea of creating an exchange because, well, basically because of the situation, people in Venezuela is just running after crypto as a way to protect their economy or just to put it on float.
Right. I mean, the inflation rate's out of control. I mean, you can't even keep up with it. I think, like if you're using a debit card or something, by the time the debit card transaction went through, they don't take debit cards there, right?
Well,
because the inflation would change so much by the time it's settled.
I mean, to pay for a coffee, you need like lots of paper bills like this, huge pack of bills. So it makes actually no sense, and actually the paper bills worth more, the liver cash worth more than the digital one.
Yeah.
You know, it worth even like 30% more than the digital one. So the whole economy is just entirely crooked. It's unreal what's happening.
Right.
So it's more realistic that we come back from the ashes with cryptocurrencies that, I don't know, World Monetary Fund or World Bank and getting more debts and printing more money. Right. So every day we're getting into the economical and political crisis, and basically Venezuelans are saving themselves from all these economical phenomena, thanks to cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, and there's a large outreach already in Venezuela. I mean, you've got guys that are mining there. You know, I remember stories about people who are mining so that they would have money to buy food, and they would have the food shipped in through Colombia via Miami from Amazon and whatever.
Well, that's happening because I don't know if you're familiarized that we have had this exchange control for more than a decade, and basically this created a black market of foreign currency. And obviously this political decision is having a huge impact in the population. So this is why, let's say, the mining is so affordable also because the Venezuelan government has subsidized the electricity, and so it's virtually free to mine, as gasoline is free. And so I think now Venezuela is the cheapest country to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the world.
Yeah, aside from the cooling, I talked with Yoshi of Bitmain one time, and he told me that you know they were mining in Iceland and they're mining in Venezuela, and he said it's cheaper in Venezuela except for the heating and cooling. The cooling of the equipment.
It's true, but actually, there's no doubt that we're becoming a crypto nation. And mining has been kind of really a huge activity recently. And well, most recently, the government has deployed kind of an observatory on the mining to create a registry and a license. Now you need a license. As you need a license for driving, you need a license for mining. So if the authorities come to you and they say, okay, where's your machines, and they want to control you, so you need to give them this license. So this this has created, like, stimulated the development of mining, and actually there's some special zones that they're projected that will be safe, or they're calling for investors. I mean, the government has really realized that the only way to get out of this crisis is with cryptocurrency. So they have decided finally to go all in.
Yeah, and so they've created their own cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
The Petro. And since they have licenses for mining, how does their mining operation work?
Well, actually, I don't have any details. I don't know. I mean, they can be doing a lot of things, and we will never.
No, I thought they were pre-mined. I was trying to be funny, but
actually, I think it's pre-mined. They mentioned this for sure. It's pre-mined, and obviously they owe the Petro, and they're making kind of batches releases, like the pre-sale, then the actual sale, and so on. But I haven't seen the Petro listed in any exchange, and probably the monkey coin will be the first one in Venezuela.
Yeah. So there's upsides and downsides to them doing the Petro. The downside, of course, being that government is controlling it, and they're probably the ones issuing it to whoever, and based on whatever they want to do. But the upside is people are being exposed to cryptocurrency. Do you think that the government actually realizes what kind of a Pandora's box that they've opened?
Well, that's actually really interesting what you're saying, because that's exactly what's happening. I mean, now everyone knows about cryptocurrencies. I mean, the president goes and talks publicly, and all the time he's focusing his presidential campaign in cryptocurrency. So everyone is being exposed every day on a daily basis with a lot of crypto information.
Right.
So, okay, probably didn't know how to write that, how to spell that, but they know that there's another thing that is called Bitcoin. And they know that there's another thing that is called cryptocurrencies that also works like money, and it's saving a lot of people. Yeah. So everyone is going to start replicating and mimicking their neighbors or their friends or their nephews and families, because everyone is seeing a solution of the economical crisis through it. So, I mean, we will become, if we are not already, the first crypto nation in the world, as I think. I mean, I can say that we come from the future, somehow.
So one of my friends is from Venezuela, and she does the Dash conferences there.
Yes.
And she was telling me about the shortages on food and everything, and how it's not necessarily what the news is portraying, that yes, there are shortages, but they're intermittent. Like sometimes the store shelves are full and it's not a problem, and then sometimes just shipments coming in, or people are selling it across the border.
There's a lot of distortion into this reality, because there's a lot of exaggeration also by the media. I'm not saying that there's like everything is okay. We've lived for years and decades in abundance because we are an oil-rich country, and so we've seen abundance. Now, obviously, with this exchange control, the government taking over like productive land and so on. So obviously, the productive apparatus of the country is quite like in a situation.
Yeah,
I would say, and I think really that there's different views. For example, I've seen friends of mine that they have been posting on their social networks actually that there is food in their meat store or in the supermarket, and they're making like live videos, and obviously this creates a huge controversy because they think, okay, you're supporting the government and so on. That's not the case, but it's more like we want to the world to know what is really going on, and so there's a lot of exaggeration. So I would dare to say that
it's the media making a sensationalized video out of it, but like there's food shortages, so they have like aerial footage of people like in mass exodus across the border into Colombia.
Yeah.
So, but what is that really?
Okay, that's a good question, because as any other border in the world, people are like working. They live in France and they work in Geneva, and so early in the morning you see a lot of people crossing from France to Geneva, and they work, and then they come back and they go back to their homes in France.
So what the news is portraying is this mass exodus is basically the workforce going to work in Colombia.
Going to work in Colombia because of this trade, and they can, probably
and I can attest to that, because we're here in Mexico. I live in the U.S. most of the time, and I cross the border quite often, and I drive. And that's the way you'll see it. Like a certain time of day, everybody's going into Mexico. A certain time of day, everybody's leaving Mexico.
It's exactly the same. I mean, you need to work. You live in the border, so you go where the economy is more flowing better. So I mean, but you will see a lot of the distortion. Actually, Cucuta is a place where there's a lot of distortion. I mean, our economy somehow is getting affected by the commercial activities that are happening exactly in Cucuta or in Maicao or in other borderlines, because there's a lot of smuggling from Venezuelan goods to the Colombian, and then they get paid in foreign currency, and so they obviously make much more money by selling the goods in Colombia for cheaper. But they're making tons of money. So it's kind of a centrifuge of smuggling, and I think it's a focus where actually the authorities haven't been able to stop it. So this is where actually the exchange of money in the black market is happening a lot.
See, but it's back to this whole project that you guys are doing.
Okay.
So you're with Monkey Coin, but you're working with SmartCash.
Well,
what kind of relationship is that?
It's a really interesting relationship, as I believe in this project. This is why I'm here, supporting it and making it well known. And actually, it's the fourth coin that we in Monkey Coin Exchange we have listed. And the approach that SmartCash community just reached us it was really interesting, because it was through a proposal. So I mean, there's no directives in SmartCash. It's a whole economy, and so they just reached us, and they kind of wanted to us not only to list their coin, but also to support the cost and to spread it. And so obviously we have been co-sponsoring events with SmartCash. We have been well, actually I'm here. I'm from Venezuela. Other colleagues from Venezuela are here. People from Mexico that we have put together this proposal together. So I also bought like all my Bitcoin. Actually, I got it into SmartCash when it was 0.05 cents.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, half a cent of dollar.
Oh.
So then, actually, it was a good time for me. That really changed my life. And I'm not a trader. I'm not a developer or anything related. I'm an agricultural engineer. I have a master's in consumer studies and agribusiness internationally. And actually, the need of the Venezuelan people has been driving me lately, because I really believe that, I mean, cryptocurrencies is faith restored in humanity, and obviously in my country that I wanted to be reborn from the ashes, and the features that SmartCash has been doing a lot of impact for Venezuelans, a lot of impact.
Well, hopefully Dash will find their way onto Monkey Coin's exchange.
Yes,
so
we're entirely open.
I mean, because Dash is already doing a lot of stuff in Venezuela.
Yes.
And that would be really cool if they're on there. What kind of protections do people have that Monkey Coin won't disappear overnight or whatever? Because you get that a lot with exchanges.
Well, now the government is asking us, I mean, they're starting to regulate the system, the cryptocurrency ecosystem, and so we need to supply a lot of information to the government, obviously, to get this license. So I mean, we're really here to stay. We don't want this project just to be ephemeral, like we are really changing lives in Venezuela, and we believe that this is the only way. We want competitors to get in the market also, because it will just bring the change faster. I mean, we need cryptocurrencies to get to be spread all over as fast as we can in the country, because it's really changing people's lives.
Yeah, especially in third world countries, or even here like in Mexico, I mean, where there's such a large majority of the population that don't even use banks. So this is prime ground.
Let me tell you something. We talk a lot of the theory. We theorize a lot on cryptocurrencies, but we can see how these theories are put in practice in a country, and how it can really save a population and give them power.
And it's technology based, and old curmudgeons are dying off. So the young generation is coming in, and this is obviously the future of money.
People in Venezuela is driving into cryptocurrencies because they need to, not because it's just a hype.
Right.
So this Venezuela.
I'm hoping that's the same thing in Mexico. And speaking of that, does Monkey Coin have any plans of integration into Mexico? I mean, are you guys coming to Mexico?
Yes, we actually we are partnering with an exchange here in Mexico that it's about to get launched, and I cannot really give you many details, but you will see it open really soon. And obviously, we are also willing to have Dash integrated, and of course, SmartCash.
I have a project that I'm working on, and I really want to see that. So, we're waiting on Bitso for. It's something I don't think I'm supposed to publicly mention, so I won't mention that. But there's one key tool that needs to be integrated into Dash before they can be added to Bitso. So we're waiting on that.
Well, probably you're going to have it listed in OmiX. That's the name. OmiX Exchange. We're gonna push it along. I mean, it's just almost ready to go. Testnet is ready, and we're almost ready to go.
Is this the one that's an ICO?
What?
It's not an ICO.
No. It's an exchange.
Okay. I was told that there's another exchange in Mexico City that that's basically an ICO, and they're just operating out of a little building somewhere.
I can tell you that the Monkey Coin exchange is having an ICO pretty soon, because we're going decentralized as well. We're going to keep the centralized exchange, but we're going to go with a decentralized exchange as well. That I cannot tell you more, but I mean we're also launching an ICO pretty soon.
Okay. Awesome. Well, man, thanks a lot.
No, thank you, Daniel.